Opa! Welcome everybody to Stavvy's World. We're back, baby. 904-800-STOP. Call in. We will solve all your problems. We have a little bit of a special episode here, folks. We have from HBO's Telemarketers. It's a great limited series, like a limited documentary on HBO right now. Fucking rules. I was lucky enough to go to the premiere. It was fucking sick, and I was like, we gotta get some fellas from the doc on the pod to talk about this shit. So we have the creator, Sam Lipman-Stern, and we got my boy Chris Passig.
That's it.
Fuck yeah, dude. If I just said it with confidence, no one would have been the wiser. And then if I fucked it up, I'd be like, oh, my bad. I was in no man's land there, folks. Let that be a lesson. If you're unsure of what to do with a name, go in with confidence. And if you fucked it up, it does, you know what I mean? You apologize, but you take your swings. So be bold in life. Don't be a bitch like me starting the podcast. But Chris and Sam, thanks for coming, boys.
Dude, thank you so much for having us.
So for those of you who don't know, obviously the listeners of Stavvy's World, Telemarketers, it's on HBO right now. You can get it on Max whenever the fuck you want. Fire it up. It's a wild story. Like, this shit is, because I don't know if you guys know, I was also a telemarketer. So Sam, the way this whole thing started was you were a telemarketer at a very shitty, like an insanely shitty telemarketing firm. Like one of the most, it was like Fallujah over there. Like yes. I saw so at the premiere you guys screened the first episode. There's 3 total episodes, and I was like, it was fucking wild. Eldest, I assume you didn't watch it like I told you to. Is that correct?
That is correct. Sorry.
Great.
Dude,
perfect, Eldest. It's
Anytime.
not all good. Fellas, please let me handle my employee as I wish, please. Don't get in the way when I'm disciplining Eldest for not preparing. God forbid you fucking turn it on. I know he has nothing to do. That's the thing. We're together so much time that I know when he's going home. What did you watch yesterday, Eldest? Let's start there. When you went home, what did you take in? What media?
I watched a couple Pawn Stars.
You watched a couple episodes of Pawn Stars.
Damn.
Instead of
that hurts, dude. That actually hurts.
Instead of he has Max. I know that he has the capacity to do it. I would have given him my password if he wanted to, but no. Our boy went home. And he
For what it's worth, I am logged out of the Max login that I have at the moment.
What was the best piece of equipment? What was the best thing on Pawn Stars? What would you say? What piece of memorabilia made the most mark on you, Eldest, from yesterday?
I don't know. I wasn't even paying that much attention. I was kind of scrolling on my phone while watching.
Well, there you have it, folks. So Eldest will be able to weigh in quite a bit during this conversation. But the doc is awesome, and so just kind of take us. Like, you were young as fuck. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
so you're in your, how old are you now, bud?
36.
36. And you were working at this place. How old were you?
14.
You were 14?
Yeah.
So they're breaking law. You're not allowed to.
I think so. In Jersey, I had to go to
get a worker's
school
permit, right?
with my mom to
Yeah.
get my working papers.
14 still seems pretty young.
Yeah.
No, that's a very good point. But before this conversation really gets going and we talk about your great documentary, I'd like to thank our sponsors, starting with DraftKings. That's right, baby. Football's back. Sports are back. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code Stavvy to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Stavvy. Throw a little cash around, what you can afford, with our friends at DraftKings. And I'd also like to thank, very near and dear to my heart, our new sponsors, Helix Sleep, an incredible mattress company. We are so happy to be working with them. And right now, for you guys, you can take full advantage of this incredible company with lots of different mattresses for lots of different body types because they're offering 20% off all mattresses, orders, and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Stavvy and use code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. What were you guys saying?
But yeah, I started, wild. Dude, I fucking...
Could you do any kind of labor at 14 with that? Like, could they have you in a fucking meat packing plant?
Or was that a really good question? Because that seems fucked up, right?
Really, like, telemarketing is one thing, but Yeah,
Packing
manual
meat.
labor.
You're right.
Seems fucking
That does sound
insane.
plugged up.
Yeah, and Chris, by the way, we should say you edited
Yes.
the whole thing. So
Yes.
so you went through. I mean, how much footage did you have from 14 to
Like over 100 hours.
over 100 hours? Damn. And some of the footage starts when you're 14. So this is a really interesting doc because it kind of spans from when you're 14 to like
Basically
a few
now.
years ago,
Yeah,
but basically now.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy. So you had, you're working with 20 years and hundreds of hours of fucking footage and shit, which is awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of like 14-year-olds. There was like hours and hours just of like 12-year-olds smoking bongs.
Hell yeah. That was about 96 hours.
We got like a little bit in the show.
Yeah.
There's a clip of that, but
Yeah,
that was,
yeah.
there was
You
There's a lot
getting
more where
high.
that came from. Yeah.
You getting high and watching like Beastmaster.
Oh, dude, Beastmaster was fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
I remember
know.
that. That was like Saturday mornings.
Yeah. It was part of the like Xena and Hercules block.
Those were great times,
Great stuff,
man.
dude. I was all over that. A lot of beating off to Xena early on in my life. Shout out to Lucy Lawless.
And
Gabrielle.
was...
What's the lesbian version of a twink? Does anybody know what that is? They got to have a word for
They
that.
were kind of progressive in a way when you think about it for the time.
Clearly, I mean, I guess, but what was the age gap? Now let's really
There
talk
was a
about
serious
it.
age gap.
Is Xena a groomer? Xena the warrior princess, a classic groomer. How old was Gabrielle? Let's
You're
fucking
right,
talk
dude.
about it,
Oh,
dude.
shit. Yeah.
And you don't think we'll really get progressive when we start talking about lesbian age gaps. We're not there yet. It's mostly about guys, but
Yes.
we will get there as a society. One day we will, But there's whatever, Gabrielle. I don't know the parlance. Apologies to the lesbian listeners of Stavvy's World. I have many dear lesbian friends. I fucked up. Text me, let me know what the equivalent of a lesbian twink is. I mean, it's not lips. That's a different thing. Anyway. So you're getting high, you're watching Beastmaster,
all day.
Xena,
Yeah.
Hercules, and you're also
And Pokemon.
and Pokemon, of course.
I remember smoking weed coming home from school and watching Pokemon. I was a little too old. I was like 12 or 13.
Dude.
But that shit was fire, dude, at that age.
That's so awesome that you're getting high watching Pokemon.
remember
That's the
that
classic. Like Dan Soder has a great joke. He talked about it on this podcast too, where he grew up white trash and he started smoking so young that there was an overlap where he still played with action figures and smoked cigarettes, and that's not as extreme, but fucking rolling your own joint and watching Ash get his fucking water badge.
Yes.
While you're high.
Oh, dude.
That's fucking
like really good memories.
And I gotta say, that sounds awesome. That sounds so fucking sick. I was too scared to smoke weed at 13, but I started smoking weed at. I remember there was like one kid who was Jewish. I will say, I don't know what that's about.
Yep.
Jews smoking weed early. We have one here.
Hippie Jew.
Yeah. There's. I guess that's what it was. There's that big contingent of like hippie Jew parents that just like weed was around.
That was my family.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, that was my family.
Like, are we talking like commune style?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
So I
fucking
grew
hilarious.
up like kind of like, I guess, like lower middle class in like apartment complexes in Jersey.
Okay.
Which I love because they're super diverse. So
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
like all kinds of people living in really tight
Totally.
space. You got like an African dude downstairs from like that was fleeing the Civil War, and like from China next door, and Greek and Colombian, and just kids like running around the apartment complex growing up together.
Yeah.
But my family was hippie Jews.
Interesting.
Yeah, so my mom lived on a kibbutz in Israel. I
Really?
think that's kind of where she
Damn.
got some of these ideas.
Damn.
Where they like,
Yeah, that's like almost like distilled communism.
Yeah.
Where there's not even government. It's like we are just all working to make this farm fucking like function, and that's it. No one gets any wages. It's just pure survival.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of
interesting.
And then, but we grew up in central Jersey. So we were like the only hippie family in that area.
Yeah.
And my parents were into like polyamory.
Oh my god.
Which I could talk about now with no emotions thanks to therapy. I can talk about it.
Dude, that's my favorite thing in the world is the children. It's one thing to mock the polyamorous, right? And by the way, shout out to there's some polyamorous ladies.
Shout out to the polyamorous community.
Shout out to them. It's awesome. I have a couple friends in open relationships who we hang out and they'll give me top. That's awesome. That's a cool setup. It is awesome. So shout out to them, right? But where I always have, and I can even kind of entertain the idea where it always is a problem is when a child is in the mix.
Yeah. And I'm the result, dude, of hippie, polyamorous. You could ask me questions all day.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, so that's why you want. It's like, why is he getting a job at 14? It's like to stop listening to his parents gangbang his family friend, to stop hearing
It's not that far off.
Aunt Jenna getting her pussy eaten by my mom in the next room. I need to start working. I'm tired. You can only turn Pokemon up so loud. It can only drown out.
That is not that far off, unfortunately.
Squirtle, Blastoise's fucking attacks can only
just fucking taking bong hits and trying to drown out the sorrow.
That's awesome.
But that's what allowed me to fucking leave school and start telemarketing, dude.
Your parents were so horny. They allowed you to drop out of school. They're like, yeah, whatever, man. Yeah. I'm trying to get this nut off. I'll sign whatever you need me to sign.
That was basically it. Yeah. And here I am today, dude.
Well, we will return to that.
Yes.
Without question.
Any questions about that? I'm open, dude. Like I said, years of therapy, now I can just talk openly, no emotions. I'll fill you in any detail.
Did they ever tell you to scram so they could host an orgy?
No, they never asked me to scram. But
they never hosted.
There was definitely.
That's probably more because your apartment was so shitty.
It was a small apartment.
They wouldn't dare bring their friends over to fucking it.
Yeah, it was not good. But we had a Puerto Rican shaman living on the couch. There was a psychic living in the attic. There was like a homeless dude living in the pantry, and his feet would just stick out. Like my brother's growing weed in the closet. Who you met? My house is wild, man.
Oh, did they fuck the Puerto Rican shaman, or was it just there for spiritual guidance?
No, but the psychic did fuck this Puerto Rican shaman.
The psychic fucked the shaman.
That's another documentary, by the way.
There was a cut where this was the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah, he put that all in there at the beginning.
Oh fuck!
Shout out to Chris. But then it just wasn't up. So no one knows this about my hippie background.
I love that.
This is an exclusive.
The psychic gave him the camera.
Yes.
Really?
The psychic.
Wow. You think this was it a woman or a man?
It was a woman.
So
Shout
do
out to Phoenix.
Do you think Phoenix knew? Could she see the future? That handing you that camera brought us to this very couch now.
Honestly, I think so. I think so.
Phoenix could see Eldest watching Chum Lee value a postcard with Captain America on it for $12, and the guy being like, "Nah, it's got to be more than that." And Chum Lee being like, "Look, you could probably get 100 for it, but I got to get some when I move it." You know, that do you think Phoenix could see Eldest not logging on to HBO Max, not preparing for this podcast while she was sucking off the shaman? Dude, psychic and shaman together, that's pretty fucking sick.
It is. It was.
Those are powerful
Rest in
energies.
Peace to Raphael the shaman, who was also a scam artist. We gotta move past.
That's awesome. That's fucking sick.
It was wild.
Did anybody in your family fuck a shaman, or anybody in your house fuck a shaman, Chris?
Not that I know. So I was outside all the time.
But you got to watch all the footage.
That's fucking awesome. You got to cut something together. You got to cut like you know how Anchorman, they did that alternate version where it's a completely different movie?
Yeah.
You got to do that with all the fucked up shit from Sam's family.
It's there.
A couple people mentioned that. Maybe
you gotta do that, dude. No, that's, please, that needs to happen.
Cool.
So your house is such a mess that you're like, fuck it, I can't be inside. I'm going to go start telemarketing, basically.
I mean, I was back then. It was normal, dude. I just felt like that was normalcy.
Right.
That was my normalcy. But I was in 9th grade, and I remember not liking it. Yeah. And so I came home and I'm like, I don't want to go to school anymore. And my mom's like, all right.
Yeah, cool. Whatever.
You don't have to go to school anymore.
That's awesome.
So I remember she brought me into the high school and was like, sign me out of school. But they're like, if you leave, you got to get a job. And so I went to Burger King, went to McDonald's trying to get a job, and they wouldn't hire me. They're like, you're too fucking young.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
But then my buddy, who was 15, told me about this telemarketing spot.
Interesting.
And we rode our bikes over there and I read the script and then got hired that day. That's awesome. Right on the spot.
So all they did was see if you could actually read what they want you to say.
Basically, yeah. And I think they kind of wanted kids because then you don't speak up. There's a lot of like ex-cons, kids.
Yeah. That's what I love about this. Is that, the mix was like guys, and we're not talking about like ex-cons who are like, converted to Islam in jail and like speak about the Quran, preach the Quran, or like people that had gotten their lives together. We're talking about guys that were unemployable. We're too like we could not get other jobs, and we're just like, yeah, fuck. They'll hire
there was
anyone.
a mix. So you'd have there was like maybe you had kids like myself who had dropped out of high school or whatever, and then you'd have a lot of ex-cons. And so you'd have like a murderer sitting to your right. You'd have like a dude who was literally robbing banks on your left. They were selling like massive amounts of heroin out of the office. And we're calling raising money for the cops. Like,
yeah.
You know?
So explain what it was. So telemarketing, what was the telemarketing? You guys were raising money for the cops?
I do the voice. I don't know if you want to hear the voice.
Please do. Please give us the script. Yeah. What was the like main script that you had you were calling
so it'd be like, hey, how's it going? Sam Lipman-Stern. You want to sound like a cop in like a 1950s cartoon of what a cop would sound like in fucking Bugs Bunny.
Yeah,
so they teach you how to sound like a cop. So I was like 14. I'd be like, hey, this is Sam Lipman-Stern calling on behalf of the New Jersey Fraternal Order of Police. Good evening to you. How you doing today? And we're calling all residents around Baltimore, calling for the new. I actually did Baltimore.
Wow, look at that.
We're doing the big summer fund drive. Donations help support anti-drunk driving and death benefits for the families of police officers unfortunately killed in the line of duty.
Wow.
We're going to send you out a new sticker. It's going to be for the new year, the police sticker. You just slap that thing on the back of your car, and all the police out there will see your proud support.
Wow.
So something like that.
So literally they had children and ex-cons raising money for the police. And what was it? What was the police?
So so we would call on behalf of
the PBA,
the Fraternal Order of Police. So that's like the biggest police organization in the world.
Yeah, every time they kill a teenager, some fat guy from the FOP comes out and is like, he was an aggressor. He reached for his gun. You could see it in his eyes. He was an animal. What do you want? Not to support the police? You want to live in anarchy? Then make him go to jail. That's always who comes out.
So that's who we were calling for.
Yeah.
We were calling for
Elvis, pull up the Fraternal Order of Police. Hey, this guy looks so fucking funny. Spokesman, look up his. Yeah, he looks fucking hilarious. I don't remember what. I think it was like some. Yeah, go to the Google images. Maybe it's Joe Gamaldi.
I know all these names too well.
You know?
I'm like so nerdy about this shit.
Yeah, that guy. Look at that fucking guy, dude.
Yeah. That's the president of the Philadelphia FOP.
John McNesby, dude. If that guy. What do you think? How many times has that guy said the N-word in his life? Do you think off the charts? Like, set the over under like 152,000, and I still might go over, honestly, depending on if he has a gambling habit. Also,
that's the head of the Philly FOP. I'm familiar with that dude.
Yeah. Anyway, so you're raising. So these telemarketing guys got together, basically like kids, ex-cons, who like, what are we talking about? You had some like people with substance abuse problems, right? Like,
so one of I became good friends with this dude named Pat Pespis.
The man, this guy fucking rules.
Yeah.
In the documentary,
and he was an addict at the time, and he was in his like mid 30s, and we just became good friends. We started filming together and started filming this investigation into what we were involved in.
Oh, interesting. So when you're 14, you got the camera from Phoenix.
Fucking camcorder,
right?
dude.
You got the camcorder rolling.
Yeah, shout out to Phoenix.
And when it started, you were just like, let's get rolling because this place is funny, or what was the idea?
So what it first when I walked in there, like I remember the first day I walked in, I'm 14, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the job was at all.
Yeah.
And there was all these built dudes doing push-ups next to the water fountains.
What the fuck?
And then I walked in, and you're like, imagine an office, and there's mug shots of the callers taped to the wall, like fucking like badges of honor, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they pointed, and there was this one dude. I remember a manager pointed to him. And they're like, "You see that guy over there?" And I'm like a little kid. They're like, "Yo, you see that guy? That motherfucker, I swear one day is going to come in here with an AK-47 and shoot the whole place up." And that was Mr. Smythe, who's in the documentary.
Mr. Smythe.
Yeah.
That's your first day?
That was my first day, dude. And then they're like, okay, read this script. It's like, hey, call, and you got to sound like a cop. Like,
yeah.
And that was the first day there, dude. But,
goddamn.
Chris,
it was sorry. You edited this whole thing, so who are some of your favorite characters from it? Because you heard these motherfuckers talk for hundreds of hours, basically.
Well, clearly Pat Pestis is on a level.
That guy fucking rules. And you guys, and please do watch this series. Like, the fucking show. We just have whoever the fuck we want on here. It's usually my friends. But I saw this and I was like, I really wanted to plug this because it fucking rules. And Pat is really the heart of this whole thing.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And so it's almost like, yes, Pat for sure, go watch it, but give it, because like I don't even want to spoil any of Pat for people. I want people to like get Pat's essence when they watch it. But so who are some of the because there's a lot of fun little little characters that I'm sure like I said, I saw the first episode, and we get glimpses of certain people that you probably saw so much of. So do you have any favorites? Or
I do. There's one guy named Larry Lazar. If you've seen the movie, he's the guy who says, CDG does a public service by hiring the unemployable.
Oh, yeah. And it was called CDG.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's currently a life coach.
Oh, hell yeah. He went from telemarketer for a scam to life coach.
We wanted to try to bring him on, but he's working another telemarketing job, unfortunately.
He's telemarketing currently?
Yeah.
He's a life coach and telemarketer. They're still in the game, huh? Wow.
Santino the God.
Yeah. Santino the God. Shout out to Santino the God.
Amazing.
The mermaid, with the Little Mermaid 95.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, Burger King cop.
I love it.
He tells us about, he came out of the halfway house and he's got this job in 5 days. He's on ecstasy, calling for the police, 7 years out of prison.
Oh, fuck yes, dude.
Yeah. So
that fucking rules.
Those are some faves. Mr. Smythe.
Mr. Smythe. Shout out to Mr. Smythe.
Mr. Smythe, the guy who didn't kill everyone.
Yeah.
Probably might have.
He was at the screening. I don't know if you remember. There was an old man walking around, getting everyone's number on a flip phone.
He didn't ask me.
I hired a publicist to come to that premiere, right?
Oh.
And their only job at that premiere was, when it's time for pictures, make sure Chris is getting his picture taken too. The moment he's supposed to start, the most unhinged telemarketer of them all, Mr. Smythe just corners them. No. Do you like nutrition? Do you enjoy nutrition?
That's fucking awesome.
I gave him some deodorant because he came through. And look, I love all these people.
Yeah,
they're like family. It was a dysfunctional family.
Yes.
And I love them all, and everyone came through. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But Mr. Smythe wasn't smelling great, and I when he came to my hotel room, and I gave him a thing of Old Spice. I was like, dog, I'm like, because he hasn't left the house in probably a long time.
Yeah.
And then I sprayed him down with cologne, and but my buddy told him, yo, who's that guy walking around with deodorant hanging out of his back pocket the whole night? That was Mr. Smythe.
Mr.
God bless him, man.
Smythe.
Good dude.
Good dude. Yeah. Never brought the AK into the office.
I think he was misunderstood. You'll see him maybe in the show, but he's just a wild looking motherfucker. He doesn't look any type of normal. He would walk around in these boots that looked like they saw Vietnam War, and he was just misunderstood. We became friends.
He loved the job. Of everyone in this footage, this dude,
he loved
he was obsessed with telemarketing.
Wow. He loved it.
That's
and I think he was the best caller.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's so. I will say from watching it, there was, and I was a telemarketer too. Actually, I was a sophomore or a junior. I was either maybe a junior in high school. And mine was a scam too. So CDG was, this was a scam of all scams. It was fucking crazy. And you guys, I thought I worked for a scam, and it was they hired a lot of high school kids, but there was also just some fucking middle-aged fucking Baltimore trash losers that also worked there. And there was one girl who was incredible at it. She was just She was. I think she was in college or something, and she also had this really calming voice that I think there was a little bit of what's the shit that people listen to, the ASMR. She had a little bit of ASMR quality to her, where she was she was a good looking girl, but her voice was literally sometimes it was bordering on softcore porn or like phone sex where
Really?
she was reading the script, but she had like this sultry voice and she would like, giggle over. She knew what the fuck she was doing. This girl, filled out applications because I worked for a company called American Government Mortgage.
Oh,
and their whole like plan.
Did you work for the government?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I work for American Government Mortgage, and so exactly their whole plan was similar to yours because you would say we're calling on behalf of this, and so that way you could be like, so they think it's the actual police, but you're calling on behalf of. And our scam was we're calling from American Government Mortgage about better interest rates or whatever, and this was like we would get people to refinance their fucking homes. This was like right. It was like precursor to this is before the housing crisis, and it was when they were just like, everything you could get a loan for, the interest rates were so low. It was fun, but that was, I never sold, literally not one. I never did anybody. I think maybe one guy started filling out an application once, and you got like some kind of bonus. You got like, if your application closed, you got like a pretty good bonus. You got like $500 or something. So this girl was like she was like caked up off it. But and like, there was a little camaraderie because we had like, our boss was some fucking piece of shit. Our boss 100% could have been a CDG guy.
Yeah, he might have been.
He totally could have been. But this guy, like, he's like an older dude who's like, I mean, not much older. At the time, he felt older. He was probably literally how old I am now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, this guy's old as fuck. But he was one of those like trying to regain his youth kind of guys. So he would bust balls. He would like show us his nuts. He would do that move. He would like the brain, you know what I mean? Yeah. He would be like, he would talk about cheating on his wife to us. Like that's a cool thing. Yeah. We're like, oh, nice, dude. Hell yeah.
He would have fit in at CDG.
He would have. Yo, people
he's looking for jobs.
This one dude was taking his dick out all the time. This guy would walk around with his dick out, bro. I'm not going to name names, but I know, and he's still working in the industry. He's still doing telemarketing for cops as we're talking right now. Dog would just be out there with his dick out. He would pull his
dick out?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit,
dude.
that would...
That's so
I mean, I guess
fucking
it
funny.
still flies in that industry to this day. Nothing's changed.
It's so funny to call it an industry.
But dude, that's funny, man, because my buddy worked downstairs from me, and he, like, my best friend, and he was doing the mortgage shit. And he was like 17
a similar
time. Yeah.
Well, but yeah, so watching that, it's like I definitely felt what you were saying about, like, the family, the dysfunctional family, the camaraderie. There was I was like, it made me nostalgic because we knew we were doing, like, our shit was bullshit too.
Yeah, sure.
I just was bad at it, and it stopped me from having any kind of moral issue. Because I was like, who cares? I'm just getting paid $10 an hour to fucking be here. But I definitely saw that like, oh, hell yeah. This is like, you guys look like you just were straight up having fun. Like it looked kind of fun to be there.
Man. And there's a camaraderie. I don't know if it's like working really shitty jobs with a bunch of people. Like, I felt like a loser at the time. I was a loser. I was like a fucking high school dropout graffiti writer. And then everyone's like ex-cons. Yeah. And everyone felt like a loser. But there's something like, people don't judge you when you're at the bottom. No one's judging each other. No one's putting on airs. We just are what we are, dude. And I think there was something like that created this dysfunctional family.
Yeah, it really felt like a shanty town that they put phones in.
If half the office is on MDMA, they're probably going to get along.
Yeah, that is true.
Was everyone doing
the
ecstasy?
Oh, yeah. There was a big ecstasy run over there, man. I remember the manager, you'd go behind his cubicle, bro, he would just have stacks of E-pills. E-pills. This is back in the day before Molly, like the young kids. Fucking E-pills, dude.
Fuck, that's awesome. And everyone's just doing ecstasy, calling on the phone.
Calling for cops, bro, raising money. Yeah. We do police, firefighters, veterans, and then cancer. First it was just cops, and then it started doing... That's when we were like, yo, we gotta do a documentary to like reveal this shit. It's like, yo, we're doing cancer. That's when it got kind of fucked up.
Because basically what the scam was is you guys were keeping a huge percentage for like, like the operating expenses.
90-10 on average. So
so you'd call someone and be like, on average, that's awesome. Yeah. So some were more. Some you were keeping more than 90%.
It was, no. It was like, I don't think I ever saw more. I don't think I ever saw more than 90.
Okay.
I'd have to look online.
But still.
90, usually it was 90%.
So you'd call someone, you'd be like, hey, an officer was killed in the line of duty. We're raising money for his family. Can I get $1,000? And they'd be like, yes, anything for a fallen officer. And his family would get $100 out of it. You guys would keep 900.
It's even more sinister.
Yeah.
It's much more sinister.
Really?
It's worse.
Yeah, because it would be like, all right, so we would call on behalf of an organization, always saying it's going to go help the families of fallen officers. And it would be like, all right, so let's say, CDG raised 10 million, right? So they take 9 million, put it in their pocket. They give, 1 million to the police organization. But what we found out through the investigation is that a very, very, very small amount, if any, got to the cause. Bro, they were spending. We found reports where they were spending money on the FOP on fishing trips. Fucking like limos, weird shit, man. But also lawyers, like you said, lobbyists, that kind of stuff. Right. They just use that line for, and it's been going on forever. Because
it's the one. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. It's the one. Even if you're like fuck cops, the one time you. Even someone who feels that way could be like, but his fucking kids are orphaned. You know what I mean? Dude. Like they didn't do anything wrong. Like you're even it's the most sympathetic thing that you could possibly people are at least listening to that.
1000%, man.
Yeah.
Plus the wording of the scripts, it's like they're not saying I'm calling because this cop got shot. We're going to give the money to his family.
Right.
What they say is in New Jersey, in the past 10 years, 10 cops have been killed.
Right.
And they would say, this organization gives money to the families of dead cops.
Yeah.
Was it 5 years ago that they did that? Was it 6 years ago that they did that?
How much was it? Was it $500?
It just did happen at some point.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a scam.
Right.
Until for years. I just thought, okay, this is how cops raise their money, right? I remember getting my house got raided for graffiti when I was 18 years old, and I was like, yo, I fucking work for you guys, man. Yeah. They're like, fuck you, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? We're not raising money for the families. Yeah. They're like, fuck you, man. And I thought, and then I slowly discovered, oh shit, because
your house got raided for graffiti.
Yeah.
How many of your parents' butt plugs did they have to shove aside to find spray cans?
There was a couple butt plugs. A couple fucking
pillows specifically designed for someone to get in doggy style. Yeah.
It wasn't that bad, for the record. I tried to leave during the orgies. I was gone. Dude. I was sleep over a friend's house.
Did they ever go away together and you knew what was up? Or they were just
my parents used to go to would have I think polyamorous camps or meetups or something. Man. And
that sucks.
But to me, it was. Looking back on it, I wouldn't want to change anything because it was as a filmmaker, it was fucking interesting. Looking back.
It is. It was insanely interesting. Interesting for sure.
Would I recommend parents out there, if you live on a hippie commune in Missouri? I have a cousin who lives on a hippie commune in Missouri.
Yeah.
And I went there when I was 16. It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
It's 100 hippies in the woods. They make peanut butter and they stitch Jesus sandals. That's how they make their money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but if you live on a hippie commune, do polyamory, man, and with your kids. Have kids, but if you live in Central Jersey, I would say don't stay away from polyamory. If you're the only family and all your friends are like, what the fuck's up with your parents, dude? But we're gonna go over there and party and smoke weed and stuff. But
oh, that's true. That is. They're not gonna be sticklers on that.
We were the cool house.
Yeah.
But I would say
if you could get past the smell.
If you live in an apartment complex in Central Jersey, maybe stay away from the polyamory.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It's just so funny to be the child of polyamorous parents.
Yeah. It is. It's really interesting.
But I just back to CDG. It's so you're 14. You've got this camera out because at first because there's a lot of footage that was funny stuff. It was just you guys fucking around and being look at this shit. Because it was also they didn't care how you dressed. They didn't care that you were literally on drugs. It was literally just it. On some level, it was kind of how offices should be. I mean, it shouldn't be that extreme, but it's just do your work. We don't give a fuck. But taken to the most possible extreme. I mean, there was footage where someone is about to get their dick sucked,
Yeah. So they had prostitutes.
That's footage. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
That's somebody taped that.
Yeah. And there's footage that didn't even make it into the documentary. I mean, basically, it was.
I'm sorry. People would get prostitutes to come by, or they worked there.
Prostitutes that worked on the phones.
That was their day shift.
They would work the phones, and then they would turn tricks in the parking lot, in the bathroom. Now, I realized there was prostitutes there, but for me, it was just so normal. And then later when we were doing...
That's your first job.
It's my first job.
The way that you think your parents should get some pussy on the side, you're like, well, yeah, that's what parents are like. And at work, your coworker sucks cock in a Toyota Tercel to supplement her wages. Duh.
I thought that was normal.
Isn't that what it's like?
Yeah, I thought that was all normal. So... But after when we were doing the interviews and we were like, hey, tell us about, remember the sex workers and the heroin dealers and the kingpins. And I was like, oh shit, I guess that is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But at first we were it was like, okay, I thought, let's just film this shit for YouTube.
Yeah.
So you can look online and there's all these old videos on YouTube that still exist.
And this is right when YouTube started.
It was
popping.
right when YouTube popped off. I think it was 2005.
When you could put someone on heroin... doing telemarketing on there. It was still kind of the Wild West on YouTube.
It was the total Wild West. And we just started putting up funny videos of the callers. That was the first thing.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into an investigation because of Pat. He's like, yo, first I was just filming Pat.
Yeah.
And then it was
who rocks, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Pat. Shout out to Pat. Man.
So he was kind of the guy who really, you struck up a real friendship with and a real connection to, and you were like, let's film him. And then he really got onto some what's going on here.
Yeah, he stood out as the character, and there were so many great characters, like Chris was saying, but Pat stood out, and he was one of the most famous people there. Everyone loved him. Obviously he was struggling with addiction, but he was a great caller.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he literally, there's footage of him being high as fuck and kind of nodding off, and then the second someone, he's got his eyes closed in that classic heroin stupor. And then the second someone answers the phone, he pops up and just crushes it. And then he was savant level and good at it.
All the I remember the dude ex Santino. He got out of prison, and he was selling. He's open about it. He was selling out of the office, just selling weed and shit. But there were other. He was CDG was so crazy. He's when I got out of state prison after 7 years, I was like, damn, the outside is wild, bro.
Yeah, it's Mad Max.
Speeding,
imagine going to jail and that's your first. You're like, wow, society is crumbling. You're this is what offices are like.
That's what he said. But that was the
how big was the office? How many people
so there
were
was
there at any time?
It was so they had half the office was Spanish.
Oh, okay, damn.
So you'd be calling in Spanish.
Wow.
Half the office was Spanish and half the office was English.
Okay.
And I don't know, there might have been 100 seats in the office, maybe, or 60 seats in the office, maybe 60. I can't remember exactly, but
so around 60 people each day.
Yeah. And you would walk through in the morning, and all these dudes would be on rugs doing the Muslim prayers, and then one guy set up a bootleg stand in his cubicle where you just sell bootleg DVDs and shit.
That's
one
awesome,
dude came in there selling pit bulls. I saw cops just fucking tear people out of there. FBI come in, fights break out between the callers. It was. I remember one caller just got out of prison, just beat this manager up, dude, and everyone dropped their headsets and jumped back, and I mean, it was.
Goddamn.
But it was fun.
It does sound awesome.
And the best part about the whole thing was it gave people jobs.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
No, that's true.
That's the one, really, the silver lining, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, you're right. A lot of these motherfuckers could not get jobs. But that's also, they knew that too, right? That's kind of the hook. It's you get people who probably can't get a job anywhere else.
Yeah.
And you're doing some fucked up shit. They can't really, if you're sucking dick in the parking lot or you're selling fucking heroin out of the fucking cubicle, you can't be like, I don't think CDG is up to snuff on all their tax forms. You can't be like, you know what I mean? You just got it was
kind of genius.
Yeah,
in a dark way.
Yeah, and it's true. It's it wasn't a bad at that time. That wage was not that bad.
$10 an hour, dude.
$10 an hour.
That you were making at the mortgage
2004. Yeah, that's not bad.
No.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious, dude. That is so. Basically, you're saying the cancer stuff happens, And that's when people like, look, it's we all would like to steal from cops. We're happy that they don't get most of the money. But once we're stealing from people with cancer, like you guys were like, all right, man, what the fuck are we doing here? It was the
veterans. There was one veterans charity that was on like the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
I think they were in Virginia. I can't remember exactly, but we were calling on behalf of them, and it turned out it was a total scam.
It just didn't even exist.
Yeah, it was like a PO box in the middle of nowhere, like that kind of thing. Actually, that was one of the things too. All the freaking organizations, a lot of them, you would sometimes read the address, and it was like a P.O. box in the middle of nowhere. But one veterans charity got shut down for it's going to help out the veterans who are disabled, and it was just total bullshit.
And this is 04,
This
05.
was like more, I think, 06, 07.
So it's like, people are kind of like, there's the Iraq War is kind of in people's heads and shit like that. There's still a nice amount of patriotism before everyone realized what a scam.
I was calling after 9/11.
Yeah.
Like 2001, bro. Right after
I'm shocked they didn't have you calling for first responders.
No, we were. Yeah, we were. Bro, we totally were. I remember 9/11 being in the script, dude, when I was 14. They would bring up 9/11. It's crazy. It was fucking wild.
That's fucking...
I didn't think it was a scam until we saw that veterans thing. It was this veterans organization, it got shut. They're total bullshit. Then this Cancer Fund of America, if you look that up, they were on American Greed. That was one of CDG's big clients. And it was a whole family. I think they were out of Tennessee, but I can't, not sure. But they had all these cancer charities, and it was bullshit, bro. Just total bullshit.
Children's Wish.
Yep.
Children's Wish, but not Make-A-Wish.
That's right.
So they were literally trying to get you to think it was Make-A-Wish.
Oh, that's a part of the industry, dude.
Oh my god,
that's a part of it.
I was researching this sound-alike, and it's like the darkest. Like Make-A-Wish will have a celebrity come to like the kid's bed. This was like little Janie. All she wanted was a trip to the mall. No, we did it for her. Or like, little Janie. God. The kid just wanted like Xbox 360.
Yeah. You want to meet Aladdin, and it's just a guy in an Aladdin costume. It's just like that
dude,
sucks,
it's dark, bro. So that's when Pat was like, "Yo, let's not just make these funny videos. Let's expose this thing because we're from the inside. We're the only ones that can do it. Because the news would always get it wrong. Right. They would always be like, get the very surface, the very top, like." Scam cops are calling around. If you got a call the police. And that was it. They never dove into the subject. So that's when we started like the investigation element.
Damn.
But we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
But also it's like you're a fucking 16-year-old pothead. He's a man currently on heroin.
Yes.
So he's not exactly a crack team of investigators.
No.
It's not, it's not Woodward and Bernstein.
No. And I think that's we had no idea what we were doing at all in any way. And we just fucking
kept at it. Yeah. Because then you got it's like it's at a certain point you're doing it from the inside, but at a certain point you even like lose. You don't work there anymore, right? He doesn't.
I got fired for the YouTube videos.
Oh wow!
The regional manager, who was like a high up person, called me one day and he's like, "Yo, you got to take these fucking videos down, dude. Like the owners are calling me. Everyone's calling. Everyone knows it's you with the camera in the office. Yeah. Take them down." And I was just like, "What are you talking about?" Like, the videos had like 30 views.
Right, damn.
Got like 3 likes. Like nobody's watching this shit. Yeah. But they fired me. They were like, "You can never come back here." They called me back 2 weeks later and like, "Dude, what the fuck are you not doing on the phones?" I'm like, "You guys just fired me, man." They're like, "No, we need you. We got like a campaign." Because I was a good caller. I was actually a good caller. I never went back in.
They fired and banned you from the building. Yes. And then they were like, "Actually, can you come back?"
Yeah. And they got shut down not too long after that. Like by the government, biggest consumer protection lawsuit in U.S. history.
That specific office.
Well, it was actually, they had grown to be the biggest telemarketing fundraising company in the country.
Oh, wow.
They had 50 offices all over. They had 1 or 2 in Canada.
Holy shit.
And I've been getting all these emails since the show came out, and every office, people are saying, "Yo, ours was crazier. Fucking, you think yours was crazy?"
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
So was that's insane because it did, watching it, it's like, okay, they had a bunch of like, satellite offices, but this feels like something that maybe not, maybe a lot of them were more like where I worked, where it's like, no one's taking it seriously, but it's not as fucking insane. But you're saying this was like everywhere. It was
I think it's the
wild.
recipe.
Yeah.
Because from all the letters we've been getting from people all over the country, the recipe is hire ex-cons and teenagers.
Yeah.
And let them do whatever they want as long as they hit their numbers, like $200 an hour.
Yeah.
I'll give, like, I don't want to spoil it, but
give one.
You'll watch it. We interview from what I've heard, the best caller in New Jersey right now.
Currently.
Convicted murderer. He did 30 years. It's dark, dude. He did some bad shit. Like, I'm all for redemption and doing your time. This guy should not be free. Straight up, dude.
And he's the best caller.
Bro, he murdered and raped a girl in the 80s.
Oh my God.
He murdered, raped a girl, and threw her in a field, bro.
Oh my
God.
God.
He should not be free.
Yeah.
He got freed somehow after 30 years, and he's the best caller. And I filmed him.
Yeah.
He's in episode 2.
Watching him.
And I'll just say one more fucking little spoiler.
Yeah, please.
I'm just filming this dude. He lives in his parents' house.
And he's working remotely?
Now it's turned to remote. A lot of the offices.
Interesting.
So he's calling from his parents' house. His room hasn't changed since the 80s.
Oh my God.
So he's showing me like his cologne from the 80s and all this stuff. Dude, every time someone would hang up on him, he would start cursing at them and saying really crazy shit like, I hope you all fucking die. I hope your house gets burned down. Like he's murdering someone on the phone, dude. Oh my God. But this is the best caller.
Yeah. That's the energy
That's
you need.
Extreme.
Yeah.
But that's not the exception. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Which is so ironic, right? Because they're raising money for the cops.
Of course. Well, I don't know how ironic. I don't know how ironic it is, really.
Fair enough.
Seems kind of exactly what you'd expect, or kind of the most, I mean, because it's not like why it makes so much sense because they're not getting the money, right? It's just another way that not only do, especially like for-profit prisons, how fucked up for-profit prisons are, but now it's almost like you get away to kind of like, $10 an hour is $10. I don't know what it is now. Have they updated it?
Yeah, maybe 15
something
an
like
hour
that
at this point. Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's a minuscule percentage. Like their operating costs are a minuscule percentage of what they bring in. So these people are like, they're making more than 30 cents an hour like they do in prison, but compared to the slice of the pie where cops are getting, even their little percentage for doing nothing is still something. And then you have whatever, I can't wait to see the end where I hopefully, I don't want to, I assume you guys get to like, you even hint at it in the first episode, but it's like the whole idea is getting to the top of this pyramid and like, it's, it's one, it seems to be from the first episode, it was like one family that was really kind of doing this thing,
Christian
but it's like
rock bands.
They use their money. Yeah, these people use their money to fucking form a Christian rock band, which is so. It's like rich people. It's just like they don't. The people who scam the poor don't know what to do with money. It's always some corny bullshit. It's always just trying to be cool and authentic in a way that poor people are. It's the most fucked up thing in the world. It's so bizarre, but. Yeah, I mean, these ex-cons and these kids basically are just, it's not quite slave labor, but it is exploitation, and they're the front lines in this scam that the cops and then some other scam artists are really making the money. So it does, to me, it kind of does, make sense. Yeah. Was there ever one, like, I'm sure there were like a couple people who were just trying to play it straight that also just randomly found themselves in those offices.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. So you'd find a couple guys that maybe they worked in the stock market in New York, and then they had some kind of bad failure and they ended up at CDG. There was a doctor that was what is it called when your license is revoked?
Oh yeah. Not disbarred. That's for lawyers.
Yeah,
but the equivalent of that. Disgraced physician.
There was a disgraced physician that worked there. There were the only person I ever saw that got like run out of that place was someone who was a kid toucher.
Oh wow!
They found out it was like a prison in there, right? It's like prison.
That's literally prison.
But shout
rules.
out to it was
of
prison
course.
rules.
Yeah.
So there was some kid toucher that came into the office. He got ran the fuck out of the
At least there's some.
They did not let him work there. Other than that, and obviously he shouldn't. Fuck that guy.
But, totally. But it's fucking.
But
it's
it was
insane.
prison rules.
Yeah.
But it was. You definitely had some like regular type of people there too.
Damn. That does sound like a fun ass place to be. What was your best? Can you tell us your best day, like your most memorable day? Just not even anything to do with the documentary, just as an employee of CDG. Do you have like a day where you're like, you know what, that was fucking awesome? Do a little ecstasy, get your dick sucked, have a Subway, you know, big meaty Italian.
Well, so I used to, like I said, I grew up painting graffiti.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know any graffiti artists or anything that you're friends with.
Not really.
Well, I grew up. That was like my passion before filmmaking. All I did was basically paint graffiti as a teenager. And so I used to, it's in the doc, some of it, but there was a train yard right behind CDG, like right behind there. So I would drag Pat out during lunch breaks and we would just paint graffiti, like paint awesome. Trains.
Yeah.
So that was fun,
That's pretty
man.
sick, yeah.
I mean, I did ecstasy before and jumped on the phones. That was fun. Which I don't recommend. Don't do drugs, kids. Smoking weed and getting on the phone. But I remember getting really high before and having a conversation with an old lady because it was mostly old people that we were talking to.
Yeah, that's another
it was
fucked
like
up
we were
layer.
like therapists in a way, right? Some of these people were just waiting at home to get the call, and I remember talking to this old lady, and she was just starting to tell me her story, and it was kind of sad, and you could tell she hadn't talked to anyone and I was high as fuck, and I felt like we were like next to each other. She's like my grandmother, and I'm just like trying to console her, and I think I spoke to her for like an hour and a half, and the managers got so pissed. I was, You're like, you'd never do that again. But CDG was wild.
At
I just
least
loved the chaos.
You didn't take any money off the old lady.
No. I did not take that. But it was just total chaos there.
I love it, dude.
But one interesting thing that we found out, because we did, 3 episodes. Episode 3 takes place in modern times.
Yeah.
Like we started it in 2020. Mm-hmm. But that industry is bigger, crazier, more Wild West, less regulated, more money than it's ever been. Now you have like robocalls.
Yep.
You have artificial intelligence.
Damn.
One caller that passed away, and he's in episode 1. His robotic voice, his ghost, is calling people right now as we're doing
from
this
the
interview,
grave,
bro.
dude.
From the grave.
He's ripping off old ladies from the grave.
From the grave, dude.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
Yeah, dude. Joe Mako, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Mako. And he was a friend. And dude, that's how it is now. They'll record your voice and they have AI doing it. And it's gotten real.
That's fucked, dude.
Real crazy.
Damn. Yeah, guys, go watch Telemarketers on Max right now. It's an HBO documentary. I mean, it's also, you guys have Rough House, you have the Safdies produced it. I mean, 2 of the best production companies.
Man.
Just most creative, awesome people working on it.
We're blessed, dude.
It's so cool because it's like both those people have such, I mean, they're both very funny and like, I mean, Rough House makes some of the funniest stuff, and then the Safdies have that, like, everyone knows the energy. Those guys just know how to like ratchet up into everything, and it's such a beautiful blend of like, you have such good stuff, and it's edited great, Chris. Like truly,
Chris is the
I can't imagine this guy just did drugs and took his camera out for 20 years. You had to fucking sift through all the footage. Yeah, this guy was escaping.
It wouldn't have been possible without him.
Yeah.
Chris crushed it.
So it's
great storyteller.
Yeah,
and artist.
So go watch that shit, guys. We can't recommend it enough. And now I think we're going to take some of the lessons learned from CDG and the wide variety of people that you came across and your backgrounds, and we're gonna solve some problems. How does that sound?
Yeah, I love, dude.
You ready to take some?
And thanks for having us, man.
Of course, we
really appreciate it.
Yeah. No. I mean, truly, I felt like I didn't know shit. My buddy Brandon with Rough House was just like, hey, he was in town. He was like, you want to come see this? He described to me as like, it's a telemarketing scam that hired ex-cons, was kind of like his elevator pitch. And I was like, sounds awesome. Like, I can't wait. And because I was literally, it's so funny to be like, I had some connection to it because I remember being a teenage telemarketer. Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. What else am I doing? Let's go check it out. And I was floored by it. So go watch it, guys.
Shout out to Brandon James for looking us up,
He's the man. Yeah. He rules.
We never wanted to demonize the callers because, like, it's an American story. You worked at a call center. I did. There were people at HBO that worked in the call center. Chris worked in a call center.
You did? What kind of call center?
I worked at an insurance call center.
Hell yeah.
And I worked with a bunch of halfway house dudes as a mover.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I think it's like it's an American story in a way, and we never wanted to demonize the callers.
Exploiting people down on their luck.
That is true.
So other people can make millions off of their hard work.
Yeah.
It does not get more American than that. Just
totally,
pure exploitation. Like exploiting poor people to steal from poor people to make cops and just already rich people richer.
And Christian rock bands.
Yeah. To produce Christian rock bands.
Fucking bad Christian rock music.
Yeah, it's a fucking awesome.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it, brother.
Go watch it, folks. Ooh, baby, football is back in full swing with another week of incredible games. I'm enjoying it. I got the grill out. I'm eating lamb chops, I'm eating chicken thighs, and I'm watching football all day on Sunday. And what's making it even more interesting? Putting a little skin in the game with our friends at DraftKings. I love the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Incredible stuff. I like in-game wagering, fucking around. Maybe my first bet, it's already a winner, all right? So I'm so good at gambling, now I'm not even excited, so I need a little in-game juice. You know what I'm saying? I've already bet the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year. Put a little cash on that. A lot of different ways you can enjoy our friends over at DraftKings. You're scrolling a little too fast, Eldis. DraftKings Sportsbook, right? Fucking asshole. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. It's sick. I already told you how I like to play around, throw a little bit of this cash around. Have it, when I'm a couple brats deep, I'm trying to stay off the booze, so we're drinking mostly iced teas, seltzers, that kind of thing. But right now, for you, however you want to do it, just do it with our friends over at DraftKings, the DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code Stavvy to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Stavvy. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.sot1800gambler.net. I hope that's what it is. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. KS 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football. Terms for eligibility, terms of responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuances. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. After a long, hard day of winning bets and watching NFL football, you know what I like? A nice night's rest. I'm a big sleep guy. Sue me. And my favorite way to get sleep is with our friends at Helix Sleep. We're pumped to have Helix Sleep on board. I'll be honest with you, I haven't had great mattresses a lot of my life. You don't know to spend on the finer things. You think, I can't afford a nice mattress. I got a weird shaped body. I got a messed up. I'm lanky. I'm too, for me, lanky's not my problem. I'm a little short and stout. I'm a heavy little boy. Never have I had a mattress be super comfortable. I took the Helix Sleep Quiz. They have this incredible feature, the Helix Sleep Quiz. You answer a bunch of questions: your height, your weight, the way you like to sleep. Are you a stomach sleeper, back sleeper, whatever? And what kind of firmness do you like? I did this thing. They had a mattress, the Helix Plus. That's right. They got us. The plus size community. Finally, someone is looking after us. No more back pain because the mattress is kind of sinking a little in. You're a heavy little stone that most mattresses can't support. Not with Helix Sleep Plus. I love my new mattress from Helix Sleep. I've never slept better. Truly, this is not even. I would be doing this. This is just a real. This is my real experience. It's funny to say that as if I'm lying other times. I love Helix. I have gotten incredible sleep because no other mattress, I've never been able to really personalize it and really and they have cooling technology. Not only am I heavy, I run hot. I've been sleeping nice and cool. It's incredible. I love my new Helix sleep mattress. They hooked Eldest up with one. He took the sleep quiz. He also got a Helix Plus. It's really truly an incredible product. And it's warranty. They're American made, 10 to 15 year warranty depending on the model. It's been awarded #1 mattress pick by GQ and Wired magazine. It's even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. So if you don't want to take the words of a hot fat man who's sweated and sank through his old mattresses, you want to listen to chiropractors and doctors in GQ magazine, be my guest. All right? So don't just take my word for it. Go to Helix Sleep right now. Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Stavvy and use code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. 20% off all your orders. It's sick. You are going to love it. So visit our friends over at Helix Sleep and sleep as good as me and Eldest. You deserve it. And Eldest, let's take some fucking questions, buddy.
Hey, Stavvy baby.
Not coming through, dumbass.
Hey, Stavvy baby. Love the show. Thanks for dispensing your advice. Listen, I'm a 42-year-old teacher in Portland. I got a relationship question. I'm still kind of hot, kind of charming, pretty emotionally intelligent, and I guess I know what I'm doing in bed. But on the other hand, I'm broke as fuck and kind of a loser by all the conventional benchmarks.
Okay.
But, like you, I've benefited immensely from the fat, hapless, and jovial fathers of insanely hot women.
Let's
and I'm currently
relax.
in the
I'm doing a lot
happiest
better than you in
relationship
life.
of my life.
Okay? Let's fucking chill out with the comparisons to me when it comes to you're like, I'm an absolute fucking loser, and you're in Portland, which, yes, that's what we have in common. That you can get pussy in Portland by being a fat piece of shit. But let's chill. Let's relax with the like-yous with talking about what a fucking loser piece of shit you are. So anyway, go ahead, Eldest.
She's a lawyer. She's 12 years younger than me. She's smart as fuck.
Okay.
She's funny. She's hornier than you.
We'll see.
Loves it when I fuck other women.
Loves when you fuck other women?
Has 34 double Ds. Okay. Loves to have a good time. Most importantly, though, she's absolutely in love with me. It's fucking crazy.
This guy sucks.
Whatever.
Stop bragging. Let's. I'm sorry to jump the gun. Let's wait for the turn. There's got to be something bad. And by the way, if something is this awesome, there is something lurking. But anyway, I think he's going to ask us a question about himself. Anyway, let me stop getting ahead of myself. Let's just listen to it. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I know I've hit the jackpot, and by all indications, she's like 100% in. We got future plans together, all that stuff.
Okay.
She gives me no reason to doubt it, but I'm developing like an anxiety disorder over when the other shoe is going to drop, and she's going to figure out how much better she could do. So, like, how do I accept that she's into me and just like let that shit go? By the way, she says she wants to suck your cock next time you're in Portland. So keep a lookout for us.
You know what? I take back everything I said about this guy. This is a cool guy.
I'll look forward to your answer.
I wasn't expecting that.
You know, sometimes, what do they say? Don't judge a book by its cover. Take of course. And he's explained he's bragging to set up how nervous he is. So, okay, and he offered to have this awesome woman suck me off. So, I'm back on his side. But I definitely see what this fucking guy's talking about. Like, he's doing the math, and it just doesn't... Why the fuck would this woman be with me is bouncing around in his head. Now... It sounds like they're in an open relationship, so I don't know if this is taking you back.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if this is... Was one of your parents hotter than you're the other?
No, I think they're pretty good-looking Jews.
Yeah, nice. Well, so... No, never mind. I'll check swing on that one. I'll pull back. So he's broke as... But what did he say? He's a teacher? Is that what he said? Teacher. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's what's going on here, buddy. you're a good person, right? Teaching people, when someone's doing something selfless, particularly she's a lawyer, right? So it's like she might have kind of sold out a little bit for money. I think she finds it attractive that you're doing something. You are broke, but at least you're not broke fucking being a telemarketer. You know what I mean? Like you're broke helping. You're broke like helping kids.
It's respectable, really respectable.
It's a completely
job.
Respectable job. You seem to, you're probably like a charming, nice guy. You're probably emotionally available. You're clearly very grateful to be in that relationship. And all that stuff is a powerful energy, right? It's just like, and the other thing is, women are just better people in general than men, specifically when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
When it comes to, destroying each other's psyches as fat preteens, women are actually worse than men. But when it comes, we'll just hit each other. But, women will try and destroy each other when they're the most emotionally vulnerable. That's where they're worse. But when it comes to heterosexual standards, you've probably felt it before in your life, like, if you're a nice guy, if you're somebody who makes somebody feel comfortable, feel loved, is there for them emotionally, all that stuff matters a lot more. And women tend to be able, I'm not going to say all women. Obviously, there's some dumb bitches out there, like there's dumb guys. But like, you seem to have found a nice, smart woman who happens to be hot and who clearly has some other problem. Here's the other thing. There's also some other problem working in this man's favor. It might be a fat loser father that she's trying to reconnect with through you, whatever. But it's like, no one who's that horny and hot and like, she's probably. My guess is you're gonna have to fucking buy a couple new sets of tires. You might get a couple slashes here or there. You might have to. I mean, there's gonna be collateral damage for a hot, smart, horny lawyer with double D tits, where everything's great right now. Soon you'll understand. There will be a time to pay the piper, if I had to guess. But even if there isn't, this shit happens, and you just have to kind of recognize that and realize, like, she's with me now. I'm not giving her any reason not to, as long as you stay in a good, and even like, it seems like you guys are open, which maybe she gets to let a little air out of the tires that way. And if you're happy with that arrangement, good for you. But this shit happens, dude. And you have to remind yourself of that. I get that. It's hard to get over these mental blocks in relationships, whether it's like feeling like you're not good enough or feeling like trapped in a relationship. Sometimes people have like, commitment issues. That in the past, that's been a problem for me, and I have to keep reminding myself, you're being a dumb asshole.
Me too.
This is great. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's almost, he's actually a better person. Like, I have had this happen where I think, it's not that I think I'm too good, but I get too scared in a relationship where the woman is objectively better. So I'd rather have your not believing in myself thing than believing too much in yourself, because then, shit's not good either way. But the only times it's worked for me is when I just have to keep reminding myself, you're being irrational, this is fucking stupid, you love this person, everything's good. And you just kind of keep after reminding yourself that, and you don't look for problems when they don't exist. I think you're good. Am I guaranteeing you that you guys will be together forever? No, but that's true of every single fucking relationship, right? So if it's a good thing, let it ride. And then, if a problem arises, it'll fucking happen and you'll deal with it then. But for now, keep getting your little nuts sucked, and I don't see a problem whatsoever. You're in a fucking awesome situation.
Why worry about it now?
Yeah.
Just enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. Do a little meditation. That's some Buddhist shit.
Do some yoga.
I got limber this morning.
Hell yeah.
I got limber. Me and Elders are doing the 30-day weight loss challenge yoga. You can find it on.
Inspired me. I want to start doing it. Yeah, really.
We'll send you the link.
Please.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Let's go.
But yeah, you guys in relationships? What are we looking at, boys? Ooh, a married man. Nice. Hell yeah.
I'm single.
Is your wife better than you? About equal?
Yeah, no, probably.
Yeah. You seem like a nice guy, right?
Yeah, but no, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And you're single?
Single. Yeah. Single.
Really, is there something about romantic relationships that feels strange and not comforting to you?
You know what? I was in a relationship for 10 years, 20 to 30.
Oh wow.
Which was dope. It was actually great. It gave me like the stability I needed.
Yeah.
Now I'm 36 and I'm kind of living more like I'm in my 20s, in my 30s.
Gotcha.
Because I was in that relationship. Like
Sure,
I never had any freedom in my 20s. Really, I was just with one woman.
Yeah.
But yeah. You know, when it comes, it comes. You know. But I mean, from my experience, just don't, as someone who has an anxiety disorder and OCD, so I know all about obsessing. And anxiety, dude. This guy needs to just tell himself, just enjoy it and fucking relax.
Yeah.
You know, don't get in. He's got to tell himself, just talk, like you said, find that voice of reason.
Totally.
Just fucking, dude, enjoy that shit.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Damn. So you ever had what kind of OCD is also strange too because it can take a lot of different forms, right?
Dude,
like everyone thinks about like people counting shit or like not like stepping on or like superstitious shit. But it's what kind of
for
shit?
Me it was I would have just like obsessive thoughts, and one of the positives, because you could look back when I was like a teenager in my 20s, I just thought I was fucked up. I'm just like felt alone. So I like to talk about it now, so people out there can maybe feel like they're not alone.
So all those fucking freaks out there who should be behind bars, who should be in a padded room. No,
dude, in the 1920s, they just fucking locked you up forever, bro.
Yeah, it's so funny. Just a guy with like OCD is just in there with like just the most developmentally disabled guy you've ever met in your life.
Yeah, back in the day, that shit was brutal. The snake pits. They just throw you in the snake pit.
God damn, dude.
But yeah, for me, I used to think I was just fucked up. I'd had anxiety, social anxiety, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, when it got pretty bad, I was like, all right, I got to go to fucking therapy.
Yeah.
And I did therapy for it. And then I was like, oh, I have like a dictionary definition of this thing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
For me, it was just like obsessing over different things. Like it could be something negative about yourself or like the classic one that I think a lot of people experience is like you got to check the doors locked or check that the stove's off, but you go back and check over and over, that kind of shit.
Right.
But you can use that shit for good once you learn about it. Like being a comedian or just obsessing over an art form.
Sure.
And
that's true. I do think a lot of mental disorders, it's like you can't, like, people have talked about how ADD is like, usually you can't focus, but sometimes you lock the fuck in. And I definitely experienced that where it's like, there's like, I can't work for a week and then I'm locked in for 2 days and I've done 2 months worth of work somehow in that like zone. So you can definitely figure your shit out.
That's like I feel like when you're, the goal is to work on these things and then try to use the good stuff, like holding on to footage for 20 years because you're OCD and you.
No, this will be something. This will be something. I'm telling you,
your
put it at your
mom's house, you put it at your homie's house, and you put it. Because one of those fucking, I remember there was a fire at my dad's house and one of those fucking hard drives burned.
Wow.
But I was OCD as fuck with that footage. Dude. So it's like,
thank God.
Yeah,
and
pros and cons. Try to, so shout out to all my mentally ill people out there. We love you. You're not alone.
Shout out to this guy's girlfriend.
Yeah,
without question, she's got something going on.
Yeah, I think it is it seems a little suspect, bro. It does seem a little suspect.
I didn't have any of this therapy you're talking about. I just think this guy's kind of fucked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of like a little bit of bragging in there. It seemed a little like maybe his girlfriend's not as attractive as he's trying to say. Or
right.
But maybe not. Maybe I hope he is. I hope she is.
Toothpaste out of the tube.
Yeah. Either way, one way or another, you're in the ride now, brother. Just hold on.
Enjoy
one way.
that shit,
I think
bro.
sounds good. Yeah, best case scenario, you end up with her. Things are great. Worst case scenario, you had a pretty sick year and a half. And then like maybe a bad month, like when it ends. But who knows? You're still in the money. You're still winning. Hit us with another one, brother.
Stavvy, baby, what's up? I got a non-sexual problem here. I know you guys appreciate those every once in a while, but long story short, I'm 25, and in like 6-7 months-ish, I'm going to be moving out of the country.
Okay.
So until then, I have moved back in with my parents, which has been mostly fine, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom completely gone off the deep end with conspiracy theories.
Oh, no.
Like, she believes she was poisoned by the COVID vaccine. She believes Joe Biden is a lizard or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And, you know, it kind of just makes it being around her, like, unbearable, pretty much.
Yeah, I believe it.
So, I don't know. It's tough. Is that just part of growing up?
Yes, it is. I know all about this.
Be a part of your parents' life as much as you hope? Or is there a way to circumvent that? Because really every time I just try to talk to her about anything, it would just morph into how the water is making us gay.
Oh, no.
Hollywood forces people to cut their dicks off, so she, yells at me for watching a Netflix show.
Netflix?
I don't know. It's just driving me crazy. So
yeah, that sucks, dude.
I was hoping to have some,
Did you chop and screw this call down, Elvis? Why is he talking so slow?
Mom, so that's it. Also, I am moving away, pretty far, so I don't want to, ideally, I like to spend as much time with my parents as possible, but they're really making it really, really hard.
Yeah,
so,
damn, dude.
That's the tea.
Thank you for spilling the tea, sis. Wow. Yeah, this sucks. I mean, it sounds like I'm pretty lucky in that, me and my mom are pretty on the same page. My dad's dumb, but he's not this fucking stupid. He's just kind of apolitical. He'll just parrot anything. I remember one time my dad was talking about, he was complaining that they were allowing gay couples to adopt children, and I was like, would you rather a child be in an orphanage? And he was like, I guess not. I was like, yeah, your gay friend you grew up with that you think is a good person, would you rather the child be in an orphanage or living with him and his husband? And my dad was like, oh, yeah. He just doesn't he just hears a viewpoint and he'll just go along with it without even for 1 second considering the other side. So it's weird. I think he's actually progressive, but just doesn't ever challenge his dumb friends when they speak. Because every time we've had a conversation, he'll be like, that's a pretty good point,
This sounds like that, but really extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this sounds like that. Okay. This sounds like he's fucked. His mom sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Classic QAnon. It sucks. I mean, it really has taken over a large percentage of old people's minds. I'm guessing your poly parents aren't. They're hard the opposite way.
They're old school lefties, old school.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
they might be anti-vaccine, but from the original.
They were anti.
Don't put medicine.
Anti-war.
Yeah.
Kind of the old school, freedom of speech, before things got
the old no, I know that is hippies. The funniest thing is that freedom of speech has become. I don't know how the fuck it became a right-wing thing, where it just means let's say the N-word. By the way, they don't actually want freedom of speech. They do not want it. I don't know. That's the most fucked up thing about the left now is that they're I don't understand the language policing because that is a traditional left,
old school left.
It's say whatever. Yeah, people are gonna say some fucked up shit. But in a free society, anyone can say whatever the fuck they want, and that's a fundamental right. But yeah, I don't. How about you, Chris? You have weird Fox News brained parents?
No, they passed before this could get to them.
But it probably would have hit them.
I had the same thing with the dad, where it was you're
some interesting views about Obama.
Yeah. But then he sees a Michael Moore and he's like,
Yeah.
I get that. No. I mean, I think. Yeah, this guy needs to not be afraid to take a break of a year or 2 years, 3 years.
That's what's interesting about it. So if he was just hey, I moved in with my parents while I'm figuring my shit out, this was driving me crazy, I would say you got to move out and you just got to see your parents a little, just enough to keep a relationship with them. If they want to talk about politics, just try and find common ground. sports has always been the great equalizer. That's the thing. It's like you got like sports is so nice to talk about, especially people who think this shit. They tend to be pretty big on sports, or football as well. So it's like, talk to your dad about whatever the football team is. Like, see if you can bond with your mom over any. I mean, it's tough because she's like won't even watch Netflix because she thinks what
cutting off.
Wednesday or whatever the fuck that show is, just making kids trans. So that stuff you can't even have movies to talk about or like a show, because that's with dads it's always sports, and with moms it's always like a show. You know what I mean? So honestly, dude, start watching Yellowstone. Like, this is really, it's pretty entertaining. Eldest has watched every episode and every spinoff. He was doing that instead of watching the documentary. He was catching up on what Kevin Costner's up to. But like, yeah, dude. The problem is he says he's moving away. He's moving out of the country. So you do kind of have to get all your family time in right now.
Do you think psychedelics could help her, or maybe like smoking a joint with, or is that going to just make things way worse?
Yeah, you might as well shake things up. You know what I mean? Like, I think, but they're probably the kind of, although it doesn't feel like, to me, there's definitely that kind of like almost libertarian conspiracy theorist that does drugs, but that doesn't feel like what these people feel like. Straight down the line, Fox Newsmax, not even Fox News, like Fox News and Newsmax hardline, brains have turned to mush because of Tucker Carlson before he took his fucking show to Twitter and disappeared. Really smart betting on Elon there, Tucker. No, I haven't seen that guy's face in a year since his show went to Twitter. Boy, did he get fucked on that one. So yeah, dude, I think I would say if this is the last 6 months you're gonna really be around these people, it's just like you just kind of have to like swallow it and be like, I want to spend time with them, and then also have like a release valve. You can't be spent just because you moved back in with your parents doesn't mean you have to spend all your fucking time there, right? Like, take some fucking weekend trips, like you crash at a friend's house. Like, just, you're not a kid, you're not like living with them and you don't have a curfew anymore. You can go do some other shit. So that's really my advice, is like, try and get some of the distance from them by just not being in the house constantly, and, see if you can bond over some non-political stuff. And just remind yourself, like, all right, in 5 years when I miss my mom, just this is my, like, moment. You know what I mean? This is, like, you're saving up for in the future. Which is hard. I saw like a TikTok someone said of, like, every time you're mad at your, like, little kids, imagine yourself 30 years from now and how much you want to be with your toddler, even if he's being a cunt in the moment. And it's like, you kind of have to do the reverse of that, where it's like, imagine, like, all right, my mom's being fucking crazy, but whatever, like, in 8 years when I can't see her because I'm of half the fucking world away. This guy might be moving to Toronto for all we know. he might be 3 hours away. I don't fucking know.
Over the border.
Yeah. But I don't know, dude. That's kind of the best advice I can have. I'm very lucky to not have to deal with this specific thing. So it's tough though. I don't know how people deal with it. It's very, very difficult.
I've had some family members that are like into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I just try to never, and it's going to be really hard because it's not to this extreme, never talk politics ever.
Yeah.
And never talk about reptilians.
Yeah.
So if you can avoid those subjects.
Yeah. I agree. I think in general, when it's somebody you care for who's just is so off the deep end, it's just trying not to get into politics and seeing if there's other stuff. But sometimes those people, all they give a fuck
go right
about,
back to
they're
it.
just so into it. You were going to say something, Elder?
I wonder how new it is for his mom, too, because sometimes you might see that happen to a parent and they're just like, hopping on a political fad or something, and then they just like lose steam. Like, that's kind of how my dad was a little bit. Like, he's pretty apolitical, but he was like dabbling with Trump. But he was just,
that's awesome.
But he was just like, he just didn't have the constitution to stick with it and really give a fuck.
Your dad,
much.
who spent a lot of his life an unemployed immigrant. Exactly who Trump would have hated.
Yeah, he never got too deep thinking.
I wasn't able to take their jobs.
But
yeah.
You know, maybe it is just a passing fad. But it's scary too, because like you can try to connect with them on like personal shit and just avoid politics while you live there. But it could go either way once you're out of there.
I know.
They could kind of lose interest in it, or they could just go off the deep
deeper.
end.
Yeah.
Can you ban your parents from the internet somehow?
So, well, I saw somebody, and again, this might be completely fake, but another internet thing where a guy just went on his grandpa's Facebook and unsubscribed him from all the like Newsmax, Tucker Carlson shit, and subscribed him to like Bernie and like all this, just like, and the guy was like, you know, maybe I was wrong. But that's the thing is like, it's kind of like what we were saying about my dad. Thank God my dad doesn't speak enough English to watch Fox News, because it might get to him. He just doesn't. All he does is he watches Greek satellite TV, and he watches, like, he doesn't watch American media, and he doesn't know how to use a fucking computer. But if he did, that's the thing. It's like sometimes people aren't even malicious. It's just what they see over and fucking over again. So yeah, I don't know. See if you can change your mom's algorithm somehow. Log on to her TikTok and just fucking watch baking videos. Maybe you'll get a cake out of it too. Cool, that would be great. But good luck. Yeah, sorry, dude. Sounds like you're pretty fucked. You really can't do shit, honestly. That's the hardest part.
It is tough once you got someone who believes in like lizard people. That's like, okay, they're just out of this stratosphere.
That's
once they sink
far gone.
Once they sink their teeth into that shit. That you're and it's like again, it is kind of the opposite of having a kid, where it's like you can't control their thinking and where their mind's gonna go, and you can just decide how much of them is good for you. Like, and it's sad to say that, but that's the reality.
I used to kind of like some of the conspiracy stuff. But then it always goes back to the Jews. Yeah. I was like, like even this reptilian shit, which I know about, like it goes back to the Jews.
That's
the problem.
It's the Rothschilds every time.
I would fuck with it, but it always goes back to the Jews, bro.
Yeah.
So they lost me. They lost my demographic.
Yeah, but you know, I think they did the math, and they're like, not that many of them.
That's true. There's none.
We can win a lot more anti-Semites. We'll lose the Jews, but we'll get a lot of anti-Semites. We're good to go. Good luck, buddy. Let's get another one going, LD.
Hey, Stavvy, baby. I'm trying to keep it under a minute for you and Eldest.
Thanks, bud.
I'm just calling because my wife, I'm 27 years old, first of all. My wife of about a year. We've been together for 8 years.
Nice.
She's the mother of my child. We're going to be together for the rest of our lives. I have no doubt about that. But she is one of the least sexual people I've ever met.
Least.
Even when we were dating years ago,
she's one of the least sexual people he's ever met. Are you going around engaging everyone you've met sexuality? I wish she was as sexual as my friend Todd. I wish like, just say she doesn't have a high libido. You don't. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Eldest.
Never masturbated. Never
Oh wow.
touch herself. Like, it's just not a priority for her. And making her come is like a fucking Herculean task.
Damn, dude.
So. Any advice you could give me, man, it'd be greatly appreciated. Like, I want her to, like, love, like, sex and foreplay, and, you know, I go down on her plenty and all that good stuff, but she's just, like, I think part of it has to do with birth control. She's been back on since we've had our son, so I don't know, man. I'm just looking for anything you could do to help me out.
This is kind of tough,
all right,
bro.
man, appreciate it. Love the pod.
That's a tough one.
How am I going to make your wife hornier? I mean, yes, that's the problem here is, like, he didn't say, hey, like, you know, since we've had our kid, it's dipped, or like recently something's happened and she's just kind of lost interest in sex. Like, she said, what are you doing, opening up the thing, get a little fresh air? All right, buddy. Eldest is hot, folks. What do we got, 15 more minutes left?
It's hot in here.
Not as dude. The Lewis Black episode, we were gonna die. I feel so bad for Lewis. He was in here and we just thugged it out. Anyway, yeah, he didn't say like, because that's pretty natural, right? You have a kid, you're together for 10 years, people need to spice things up. Where I'm having trouble is that, like, by his own rubric of sexuality, which he has a lot of information on, she's one of the least sexual people he's ever met. She's not jacking off. She's not busting. That's like, it's one thing to get back to a level or change things up, but it's like kind of tough to be like 10 years in, hey, I'm going to need you to start, busting more.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing here. Are there any times where she's in, like, do you remember specific things or specific instances where she seems really turned on, or there like, you're just going to have to kind of like reverse engineer this, I think, a little bit. And the tough news is, like, it does get harder when you have a kid, when you have like a fucking newborn kid and you've been together for, almost a decade. Now's not the time. Like, you picked a very strange time to try and get your wife hornier. It's right after she had her first kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you might be kind of fucked here, pal, where it's like, now's not the time to try and go onto some kind of like late in life, libido exercise. And yeah, birth control might be something. Obviously, is she on antidepressants? That's a huge one. This sounds like kind of classic antidepressant med stuff. Maybe that's part of it. But I don't know what to tell you. That's a tough one, dude. Yeah.
I wonder if if he's like talked to her, or if she's even aware that this is like a thing for him.
Right.
That like it's bothering him.
Of course. That's always a classic thing when we get a question, is like, have you had this conversation at all? Or is it just like bouncing around in your head?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I wonder that too, but I just think it's such a strange time for him to bring this up. For right after the first kid, like, now's when you're trying to get her fucking turned on.
And the kids, yeah, it's like, I don't have any kids, but
yeah,
for my friends who do have kids, it seems like that is not the right time.
Yeah, because you're especially a fucking infant. It's like, one of my best friends just had a kid. It's like, that motherfucker, that baby's like life is her whole mission, and it's like she's just exhausted from just keeping him alive. It's just like that's what you're focused on. So I don't know, dude. I would just say, like, think about what she's responded to in the past, and have a conversation. If this becomes like a really tough problem for you, have a conversation. It seems like you guys have a good relationship. You're saying yourself, like, you're gonna be with her for the rest of your life, so it's not like you're coming at her like, hey, come on, you got to start sucking some dick or I'm out of here. You're just trying to get to like, what you're just trying to get to, like, some kind of understanding where it's like, this is an issue for me. Obviously, it's not a big enough problem where I'm going to, fucking leave you or anything. But it's like, can we figure this out? Is there something we can do? Is there something I can do for you to get you more in the zone? So, yeah, dude, it's kind of tough, but I think that might be the most straightforward way. That the most straightforward way, and just see what she has to say about it. I don't know if you've had this conversation, but this would be a good live one too to do. But alas, we don't have that capability. So good luck, buddy. Call in. Let us know if your wife starts fucking more.
Good luck.
Good luck. Hit me with another one, L. Dunce.
Hey, Stav. Love the show. Big fan. I am a 25-year-old high school teacher. I'm a woman and love my job. Love the kids I teach. I'm struggling with 14, 15-year-old misogyny, which, product of our society. But I would just love your advice. I feel like you seem like an evolved man.
Thank you.
Someone who has,
I think people would say that about me.
Arisen from maybe being a 14-year-old misogynist yourself. Who knows? I don't wanna say anything or speak ill on you. But
I think we all were.
they're high schoolers, they're kids. But I guess I just want to have hope for them, and sometimes it's tough because they say horrible things and they love Andrew Tate. And yeah, how did you,
That's tough.
if you grew up with that, how did you evolve? What sort of turned your thinking? Anything you can share, would love. Again, love your show. Thanks so much.
Thanks for calling in. Tough. Love Andrew Tate. I mean, it does make sense because that guy is just like what a dumbass little kid thinks a cool guy is. Like, that's why he's so successful amongst the youth, is like, no one, if you're a real fucking human being, doesn't want 15 Bugattis and what are essentially high-end prostitutes that aren't allowed to speak to you, like, in your home at all times. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's tough because that does exactly apply to little-ass kids.
It's so interesting, dude, because then there's like, there's that other guy like Dan Bilzerian or something.
Dan Bilzerian,
that whole group, when you look on their Instagram, it's like 10 models.
Yeah, clearly paid to be there.
It's so fake.
Yeah,
and you're right. It's probably like 13-year-old boys that are
like, this
consuming it.
Fucking awesome, dude.
That's always been there. Like, that fantasy is always there.
I know.
Like, these kids need a chance to evolve too. Right?
Yeah.
Kids. Like,
I know that there's a little bit of that, right? Where it's like they are kids, and I just don't. But it's like, how? I guess what exactly are you struggling with? Just the fact that they're being little dickheads. Because look, some of them are just gonna stay dickheads, and some of them will grow out of it. It's just tough as a teacher for you, like, because this is such like learned cultural stuff too, where it's like, what can you get them to do? You can't be like, if you're like, Andrew Tate sucks, they'd be like, yeah, you fucking would say that, you low value woman. You know what I mean? Like, they just, there's no reasoning with these little assholes at this age. There is like, and yeah, did we, like, obviously you grow up around, everyone grows up around misogyny, racism, all that stuff, and you just realize, I think for me, part of what helped with at least like misogyny, honestly, was like not respecting my father, like thinking my mom was the one, my whole life it was like my mom was the one who took care of everything. So I almost like, I hated male bosses or like authority figures, and I respected female authority figures a lot more. Don't get me wrong, a boss is a boss, so it's like I definitely had some like like women bosses that I hated and treated as bad, but whatever. But like for me, that was a big part of it, where I was like, my dad's a fucking idiot. But 14, 15-year-old misogynists, how do you deal with it? And I don't know. Like, as a teacher, it's like you just kind of have to treat it like any other form of discipline, like what they say.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but I don't know is it your job to expose them to other shit that is not like rooted in misogyny? I don't know. Or do they just have to kind of grow out of it? Definitely you say a bunch of dumb shit because you're insecure as a kid.
That's a big part of it, dude. I was so insecure as a fucking teenager. I was a mess. Looking back on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like I definitely had a teacher who, dude, I remember specifically in middle school, not even high school. I guess high school is funny because it's like they are closer to being a fucking adult. But I remember having a moment where I was like, in 7th grade, I was kind of like a teacher's pet for a specific, like I really liked, I knew math was my shit. I loved, I really liked English, and I liked history and all that stuff. And I was close to I was really close to like my English teacher who, whatever. And I was like, I would go after and I would do shit. And then there's like a new kid who like transferred or something, and it fucked up the whole dynamics of our whole group, and everyone kind of like was friends with him, and like whatever, they were kind of, I remember I was getting like shit on, and people were like kind of bullying me. And then I was just like, why am I standing for these guys? They're going to bully me. So I just like little did they know I would go on to become a comedian who roasts people for like half of my living is finding people's insecurities.
Yeah.
And I'm not being mean about it in my videos, and I would just zero in, and I was a fucking piece of shit in 8th grade. I would beat. I was also big. I was this height. This is I never grew. I was the biggest in 8th grade. I would fuck kids. I would I would hit kids in the nuts constantly.
Damn, right in the nuts.
You would go
for the
there
nuts?
was and I would fucking roast people. I would call girls dumb bitch. I would really, to the point where my English teacher kind of had a moment with her and was like, she sat me down and she's like, "You are not the student I remember from." And honestly, that did not work on me.
I was gonna say that.
I was like, "Fuck this bitch." I was like, because in one moment I was like, it kind of gave me this moment of clarity where I was like, I'm acting out. I was like, she was like, well, I can't even understand why you're, and it did make me reflect. I was like, why have I turned into this guy? Why am I being such a fucking piece of shit? And it was all good because it was like, whatever. We went to high school the next year, and I kind of I was like, I'm not going to behave that way anymore. But I would literally classic bully shit, take kids' fucking pizzas and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so in that moment where she was like, you're not, she was dressing me down. She was like, you're a fuck, because I think I just fucking crushed some girl in our class and got a huge laugh. And she was and she kept me after. And in that moment, she yelled at me and she was like, you're not, why are you behaving this way? And I literally was like, I was a very sensitive, in touch with my fucking feelings kid last year. And now I'm bullying people. You're the fucking adult. You can't do the math and think about what happened. Obviously somebody fucking made, I'm acting out. I'm lashing out. You think, I remember having that thought. It's why aren't you trying to talk to me, you dumb bitch? Instead of, and I just got worse for her. I was like, fuck her. And so I just do unfortunately, I feel like you might have to let it kind of, obviously check it. You don't let anybody say anything that crazy. But I also think I guess she had made the mistake of showing me how much I had affected her, and trying to hurt my feelings. She was trying to bully me, and it's you're not gonna beat me. And it was there was a lot. I remember I was even biting my tongue. I even had too much tact to go after this woman because she was dealing with some shit in her own life, and I was like, lady, you're I could fuck you up.
Yeah.
But I just think if you see this, you're just gonna kind of have to check it as much as you can and just. I don't know that you can do anything. What happened for me, that I grew out of it. I was like, this is pretty fucking stupid. It feels bad to fucking bully people, whatever. And I don't know what did it for me. I think I was lucky to have, I had a lot of female mentors, in high school. And I don't know why. I mean, I can't tell you why I grew out of it. And it's tough to be what I would assume is so hard as a teacher is to have all these kids kind of pass through your life, and you can only do so much. And that's got to be so difficult for someone, especially seeing all this Andrew Tate shit. But I am hopeful too, because I worry about this too. I'm hopeful that there is a swing back with some of this stuff where it's just kids realize that, but who knows? I mean, honestly, I am trying to make really stupid comedy that is not, racist or misogynist, but that is offensive, but that's from a place of I love these people, but I'm gonna shit on them, and not a place of actual fucking hate.
Yeah.
Which, back to the free speech stuff, is a lot of people hide behind free speech and they just want to be hateful and not get yelled at for it. And I don't know. I mean, hopefully, those kids get turned on to that kind of media that is kind of because kids love dumb bullshit. They love offensive shit. They love people roasting each other. But hopefully it gets turned away from that Andrew Tate bullshit. And all that weird misogyny. But I don't know. I'm rambling here because I don't have a great answer for you, unfortunately. I don't know. Were you ever a teenage misogynist?
Probably. But very inward, never.
Yeah.
I'm sure kids, I mean, part of that is just the angst of being a teenage boy. Yeah. But I'm sure kids definitely feel a lot more they have the the card to just, be very outspoken about it now.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious imagining like a little dumbass 14-year-old talking about being a high value man.
yeah.
Someone's just never lived life at all.
Yeah, I know.
That age, man, that 14 and 15 is a tough one for a teacher.
Yeah.
Because I remember that's when I ended up leaving school.
Right.
Because I was just like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I don't even want to fucking do this anymore. I remember people being so mean to teachers. In public school.
Absolutely.
Just being fucking dicks, and everyone's being dicks to each other. That's a tough time. But I think the good ones will grow out of it.
Yeah.
The good ones will grow out of it. So I'm like so out of touch. I haven't watched the news in 8 years, I think, for my own sanity. Yeah. So I don't even know what kids are into, what they're watching.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, hopefully young people are tuning into like better media than dudes like that.
Yeah.
I
know. It's tough, but I don't know, dude. It's just do what you can. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to be dismissive. It's like, nah, don't worry about it, sweet cheeks. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Nah, misogyny's not real. It's over. You get to vote. What are you even fucking complaining about? Just talk to your husband. Did your husband let you call in on his phone? How did you even get into this? So I don't. Good luck. You're a saint being a high school teacher.
Yeah, that's what a great job, right?
And I do think you have to kind of I don't know. I'm just speculating, obviously, because I've never done it. I mean, I was a tutor and stuff, but there's only so much you can do, and you can't really beat yourself up over it and realize that there's just, hopefully these forces swing back the other way. But it is tough to be like, damn, there is a lot of. There's just that everything is being so to the extreme, and that you'd hope that with history, people would get more kind of like accepting and liberal and shit like that. But it really feels like there is a swing back, especially all like misogyny is absolutely. I mean, it all goes hand in hand. But like the misogyny, the homophobia is out of fucking control. The transphobia is out of control, and so I don't know. But a little. I hope that's not as connected to. A 14-year-old calling a girl a bitch and being like, shut up, bitch, come suck my dick, and just trying that on and being like, I'm a cool guy, and like not even believing himself when he's saying it. Hopefully that's all you're dealing with, and it's not something, bigger than that. But I don't know. Good luck out there. You got a nice quick one for us, Eldest? Something to take us off?
Glad I'm not 14 anymore, dude.
It's a brutal age.
Brutal.
Yeah. Brutal fucking age.
Dude. Being in my 30s, dude, I'm all. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks.
Your birthday was yesterday.
Yo, happy birthday, dude. Holy shit.
Birthday gift being here, man.
Come on.
You.
Nothing.
You guys are the best.
Thanks for making the fucking show. Thanks for making Telemarketers.
Really appreciate you, gentlemen.
Thank you for fucking sifting through all that footage, Chris. Yeah.
That's what I do.
Genius.
Hey, have a birthday liquid death on us. And you know what? We have a birthday freeze pipe for you outside as well.
Really?
Yeah, actually, for real.
Awesome.
Yeah, you can have one.
Cool.
Our beautiful sponsors have sent us a lot of free stuff that we'd love to share with our guests.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out.
All right, take us home, Elders. Let's play one more.
Hey, Stavvy and Eldest. I got a different kind of question to ask you guys right now.
Okay.
So like everyone else, AI freaks me out, and I hate how it's just everywhere at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wanting to ask you what you think about AI and its possible effect on the comedy world within the coming years. Also, I asked ChatGPT to tell me a joke that Stavros Halkias would tell, and it said, why did the Greek philosopher go to the bakery? He heard they have plenty of good donations for his philosophical endeavors. All I know is I don't think you should take that stuff. That's the kind of shitty comedy I expect from an Albanian, not a Greek god like yourself.
That's right.
Anyway, man, let me know what you think. I love you, and have a good one.
That's so funny. Is that even a joke? Why did the Greek philosopher go to the bakery? Here they have plenty of good donations for his philosophical endeavors. That's supposed to be like a donations pun.
I know, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I was like, am I stupid, bro?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I fucking hate. I mean, all this AI shit. I hate it. I mean, I wonder. Actually, I wonder. Have you started using it all for like editing stuff? I feel like that.
Yeah, there's like small things that are, like the Force is good for editing, but then it's
because so much of editing is drudgery that I feel like it's tough because you see stuff where you're like, oh, this could be useful. This could help the people who already work in this industry, not replace them with a shittier version of it. But
I think like bad reality TV, like someone like me will you'll have a producer who's like, here's how our show goes every time.
Yeah.
And it won't finish the show.
But it'll get 80% there. Yeah, I mean, I think for stuff like that, it is much more dangerous. I mean, I do think with comedy, I tell myself anyway that it's just a little, there's too much nuance in it to like really, for Chat GPT to really get it. I mean, like you look at, it's just like, I mean, I guess in theory it might be able to get really like set up punchline jokes like at some point, but what ChatGPT does is steal. I mean, let's be honest, that's what it does. So if it steals enough stuff and it just kind of like mixes and matches enough punchlines, I think it could, like, that's the thing you hear from a lot of industries is that like it can replace the really shitty version of our thing, right? Like that's what it, and I, at this point, I do think that so much of at least stand-up comedy, and the way comedy's gone in general is that, like, people like your material. You have to put on a good show. But you see it. I mean, the biggest comedians have a podcast. They have, they make they make a TV, they write their own shows. They have movies. They're trying to do all this other stuff that's so personality-driven that I do think modern comedy has kind of gone, you're not really judged on your specials or your jokes for better or for worse. I don't think it's necessarily an on balance good thing as somebody who kind of really grew up loving comedy for comedy's sake. But where it is good, I think, is that it's harder for AI to take that. If what people like is they're a fan of you and it's your perspective, and I think some of the best comedy is so personal and it comes from it's like reflecting on fucked up shit that's happened to you or just your background or whatever, that it might be able to replace certain forms of like set up punchline generic comedy. Bad comedy. But it's also like to what end? Like who is going to tell that shitty stand-up joke that the computer wrote? Like, you know what I mean?
Someone
like,
who doesn't want to work on their shit, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like, that guy sucks already. Like, no good comic is going to use Chat GPT for jokes. I hope not. I mean, that'd be fucking insane. I say that. I guess I should text my friends, but like, we're not, none of you are doing this, right?
Can you, like, because I was thinking about it, and I haven't really paid too much attention to everyone talking about AI and stuff, for better or for worse, but can you, like you're saying, can you replace originality? Because everything that I love about comedy, stand-up, and filmmaking, like you see it in this crazy documentary we're working on. It's that originality that you can only tell your story. Yeah, but can they replace?
I don't think so. But I think like if it can replace shitty things, then it's kind of logical that over time it can slowly get better at stuff, and that like there will probably be a soullessness to some of this stuff, but that it could possibly get to technically 85% of the way there, but it'll be losing that final, like, there's something different about this. Especially with like movies, it's like because what it's doing is stealing, like, it could just fucking, AI could just generate like looking at shots that, you could have an AI cinematographer and you could be like, I want my movie in the style of fucking this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you see the shitty Wes Anderson, like, AI, which gets it wrong, it sucks, but it's like, if it's starting here, then it's like, could it over 30, 40 years, whatever, actually get not good, but enough where if you're a fucking idiot who doesn't really give a fuck about art, I mean, look how many, thankfully Marvel movies are starting to dip, but they were the most fucking, which have now, AI could absolutely make a Marvel movie. Absolutely make a Marvel movie. And so it's like, I don't know.
The big problem is, what about the people that learn by cutting their teeth on the shitty stuff.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was fucking cutting Paula Deen.
Yeah.
Like, if a computer is cutting Paula
That's
Deen,
a great point.
I'm not here,
No, that's a great point. It completely fucks up the whole. Like that's the other for comedy at least. Computers are not doing open mics at chicken restaurants. Right. You know what I mean? Like they are doing Paula Deen, but they're not doing how you get good at comedy. So I have some faith that it will, and even like acting, it's not like it's gonna teach people how to act, but it could take what they're worried about is like taking like your dead buddy who's still a telemarketer from beyond the grave. People are worried about like, what if Tom Cruise just is in movies for eternity now because they just keep, and then they bring back fucking, Humphrey Bogart and shit like that. That's what they're worried about. So I think at least with stand-up, yeah, I mean, it might, like, some of the worst comedians might be like, give me some ideas for jokes and try and punch them up, and that would be crazy. You're a fucking beyond the hack if you do that. I want that on the record. But I do think there is something, because it's such a stupid art form that shouldn't exist. Like, stand-up comedy is it's such a mistake that it exists, that I think, it's just like a person talking with their own perspective, and I just don't see a way that AI fucks that up.
All I can say is 3 years ago I was like, I'm safe, and now I'm like, I'm not safe.
Yeah.
Advancements in 3 years. Like, I feel like
I could see it taking over podcasting, weirdly. I could see like AI, like how they have like AI influencers. I could see if it's allowed to steal, you just feed every podcast into it. And you just take a voice, like put it. I think you could probably make a shitty podcast with AI.
And the more, it's bad now. Like everyone goofs on Chat GPT now for the bad scripts and the bad jokes.
Yeah.
So, like, it's only bad now.
Yeah.
Give it 3 years.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, and who's to say? I mean, I say like who, they're not going to be doing stand up, but it's like what? I mean, you see like VTubers and shit like that, where it's like. It is a human being, but they're behind like a weird anime avatar. Right. And it's like, who's to say that's just not going to become, comedians? Like you feed that in. Like I've talked about it before, but Dudesy, the podcast, they made an AI. It's a podcast run by AI, and they had like a Tom Brady, they had Tom Brady AI stand up.
Oh shit!
And it was bizarre. It was like it didn't understand like pausing. It didn't understand any of that stuff. But some of the jokes were okay, and it was interesting because it was Tom Brady, because it was somebody with a point of view. It did kind of, you're like, oh, it's talking about his divorce and it's talking about playing football, and it was like it had enough of where it's like they can't just say write me an hour of stand-up comedy. They probably couldn't do that, but if you give it enough context, it kind of started to. So. Who knows?
It's going to be interesting to see where that shit's at in like 30 years, man.
Yeah, like maybe what it could do is if you feed every Dave Chappelle special into it, maybe it could do that, where it's like, fuck it, we can figure we'll just rehash some shit, but who's to say? Anyway, hopefully by the time it's really around, I've retired from show business. I'm running a seafood restaurant in Southeast Baltimore.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
That's the dream, so we'll see. Fellas, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you, man. My guys.
Yeah, you guys
thank you, guys.
My man.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Guys, go watch. Yeah, the fucking documentary rocks. Go watch Telemarketers, guys. It's by the time this comes out, all 3 episodes will be on Max. Go do it. Elders will have his login by then. He'll see it. He'll watch it
Dude,
too.
I'll throw you a login. Bro. I'll throw you a login.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks,
thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.